I get asked a lot of questions about how foreclosures work and how short sales work, and I thought it'd be best to meet with Eric Adams, who specializes in foreclosures and short sales. Eric, how do foreclosures work? What's the process like for a buyer?
Once they foreclose, the bank takes ownership of the property. They'll determine a marketing strategy for the property, decide if they want to sell it as is or repaired. They'll go through that process, determine a valuation, and then they'll put it on the market with a listing agent, which is where I come in. Once I list the property, it's on the market for sale. If an offer comes in from a buyer, we can negotiate that offer in a matter of hours. Well, the difference with a short sale is that the owner is still in control of the property. They own the property. It's a lot more complicated process because not only now do you have to negotiate with the seller, but you now have to negotiate with their lender and get their permission to reduce that payoff. It's a convoluted process. It's not easy.
How negotiable are foreclosures?
Well, of course, banks, they want as much money as they can get on these properties. They're oftentimes taking a loss, and they want to minimize that loss.
So are you the one that negotiates the price?
I'm the agent for the bank, and so if an offer comes in, I present it to the seller. They tell me what price they want to take, and they go back. There's usually an asset manager. They're the ones that are responsible for the property, and they are an employee for the bank. So it's their job to get as much money for their employer as possible. So they're not going to give the property away by any means. Again, they've had the property appraised. They've gone through a lot of checks and balances inside their system so that they kind of know where the value is, what the market's doing. They're very knowledgeable about the market. When a property's brand new, comes on the market, they're not too negotiable as far as price goes. They will offer some concessions, however. Buyer's closing costs, a lot of times a home warranty. Sometimes they'll do repairs, although it's kind of unusual for them to negotiate repairs, but they will do it.
Right.
The best deal with banks, quite honestly, is after a property's been on the market for a few months, they haven't sold it yet, they start to become a lot more flexible with price, and that's where you can get a good deal.
Right.
The important thing to do is find a good agent who knows what resources are available. Banks will publish their property on their own websites, but there are a lot of banks, and so there's a lot of places to look. So you want an agent who understands the process, knows where to look for them, and a lot of times what's coming on the market. These properties will be foreclosed on for months sometimes before they actually are for sale, and it's nice to know kind of what's coming up so you can have your ducks in order and ready to buy on a property and be the first in line, if you will.
Right. Awesome. I think we've touched on most of the questions that are most common, I would say. Thank you for your time.
You're sure welcome.